Is the video visible? I don't think so.
No, ma'am, your video is not.
I'm just waiting. Let me just start. Or I'm just going out and then joining in again. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's visible now. Thank you. So I hope all of you have just understood the idea that what we are going to do, because I couldn't get a chance to meet you people earlier. So let's. It will be very interactive. Whatever your doubts you have, you just put on the questions. Never ever restrict yourself. Then the editing part will be done later. Okay. So who is going to start? Who will be leading? Yeah. Yeah. Three of you will be fine. Satish, or will you like to suggest something, or we will start like that? Is he there or not? I don't know.
This is Shomit from Satish Sir's ID, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. So Amit, you are there, na?
Yes, ma'am. As of now, I'm there, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So let's start.
Sure, on the start. You can start with the meeting, ma'am, and I've started the cloud recording, so everything will be recorded over there.
Okay, fine.
Ma'am, if you don't mind me asking,
Please.
ma'am, exactly, ma'am,
Just
what exactly are we discussing? Like, we got a few questions or a few topics on which the discussion has to happen, right? So, like,
one more thing is that, are you all sure? That's why I was just trying to talk to you people earlier, because before coming to something, we must have some idea that for what we are meeting. The basic idea of the meeting is that on 10th of October, World Mental Health Day is being observed across the world. Fine. But this is the most, we can say, least understood word, least identified concept, that all of we, including all of us, we are having some myths, some facts, some realities. So questions are there. I just put the question just to make your concept clear, that how we are proceeding. But you are free to ask any doubt, any query, because our conversation will be communicating to the mass, because we are representing the college or the youth specifically. So whatever queries you want to clarify, and there shouldn't be very much formal way. Informally, as of you all are students, so we can converse, and that thing will be recorded, and that will be proceeded. So as all of you have the questions, you can just take the questions as your skeletal framework. You add, you distract, but the first and last should be there, because concluding lines has to be there and introduction has to be there. Otherwise, and this online thing during this COVID, all of you have faced hell of things. So how we are going to do that? In the rural belt, mental health is not at all captured in urban areas. Forget about rural areas. But what are the problems they are facing? So any sort of query that is coming into your mind, you please clarify. And if you have any other query also, besides all these questions, feel free to put here. And someone of you will be starting. I will be just there to handle everything, the query mark, but you are going to handle it completely, because it's you. I will be the part. Yeah.
Now, for the starting, the first question we should ask that written. After that, we'll start our queries.
Fine, fine. That will be, because first we have to introduce the concept, and that has to be done by you people. Any one of you can do that. Then you can. Then I will elaborate the purpose of this thing. I will put a little bit of history and how things are going on. Then you go on with your queries. Will it be okay?
so basically, like we start the event by saying so good afternoon or good evening to one and all present here, and
Let's do it. Good morning.
Okay. Good morning to
Because
all
on 10th
present.
it will be uploaded. So let's go with good morning. So that will be better.
That's completely okay. So
Hmm.
we'll start with good morning to all present here. Hope everyone is doing fine in this pandemic. Hope your family is safe. So as we all know, today is World Mental Health Day. Today, 10th of October is World Mental Health Day. And on this occasion, we are here to present a group discussion sort of a thing based on the different aspects or different significance or different challenges that that are faced in the field of mental health altogether.
Yes, yes.
So I would like to call ma'am. It's Mrs. Shashwati Jena, right?
No, doctor.
Okay, doctor. Sorry, ma'am. Really sorry. So,
No, not about sorry, but it's doctor.
okay, Dr. Shashwati Jena. So I would like to call forward Dr.
And please
Shashwati.
introduce your friends too.
Okay, ma'am, I'll do that. Ma'am, once your introduction is over, I'll then introduce. So I would like to call Dr. Shashwati Jena to please come forward and address the gathering.
Sure. Not address the gathering. Let's have a discussion.
To come forward with the discussion, once
the discussion.
you say like a few things about this particular day or whatever, what
I will explain.
Exactly. So I would then go, like I could then go for we have 3 panelists here today for the discussion. Myself, Soumyakant Panda, and along with me I have Ms. Geetansha Kumari and Ms. Arpita Mohanty.
Perfect.
Yeah. So we go for that, and for then we can start the discussion. Like we have a skeletal structure. All we can do is like
skeletal structure is there, but you
Exactly.
please add because I couldn't read your mind. You might be having
Understood.
many queries, so put forth them, and it is a platform we have got, so that let's clarify it. And you are actually representing your students, your friends.
Understood.
Many of you are having such kind of queries, so we will go like that. That will be
Understood,
fine, I guess. Yeah.
So we have a beginning statement, and like after the entire discussion, one of us could go for a concluding statement.
Concluding speech, and then we will end it.
Okay, ma'am. And what duration are we looking at, ma'am?
Maximum we will be going for maximum 30 minutes.
Okay, ma'am. Understood.
But if you are going a bit more than 30 minutes, that's okay, because in editing they can do, because they need some material to cut. And so let's go for that. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Got it.
Thank you.
Okay.
I hope I haven't keep you people in trouble. It's okay, right?
Yes,
because it's our duty. We must raise our voice for this cause. That's why I thought, we should go for this, because this lockdown has just created lots of trouble in our lives. So let's start it.
Understood. So okay, we are starting now.
Yeah.
So good morning to all present here. My name is Soumyakant Panda, and I welcome you all to this auspicious day and an amazing day of World Mental Health Day. On this day of, I'm starting again.
Go. It is World Mental Health Day 2021.
2021. Okay, ma'am. Good morning to all present here. I hope all of you are doing well. You and your family are staying safe in this pandemic. First of all, as you all know, today is the World Mental Health Day 2021. So I wish you a very happy World Mental Health Day 2021. Today, we have with us an entire room of panelists to discuss the different challenges, significances, and the different importances of mental health altogether. So I would like to call forward Ms. Shashwati Jena to say a few words. Ma'am? And we can start again. They have a lot of. We can start again.
You just do you have pen and paper?
Sure. Yes, ma'am, I do.
You please write down World Mental Health Day, because many times if we are not pronouncing it properly, the message is not going properly. World Mental Health Day. Simple. 2021.
Arpita, would you like to open?
Where is Arpita?
Arpita, would you like to open? Like,
sure,
start,
sir.
Go for it, no?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So you just mentioned that World Mental Health Day 2021. You mentioned the names, and I'm not Miss, not Mrs. I'm Doctor, because I will talk about this gender. I will talk about the gender. Okay, fine. So we will starting afresh. Yeah.
A very good morning to everyone present in the meeting and to all the audience. A very happy World Mental Health Day. 10th of October is celebrated as World Mental Health Day every year. To discuss the challenges and various importances of mental health, today we have among us Dr. Saraswati Jaina to discuss all the significances and the complexities of mental health. Please, ma'am.
Thank you, Arpita. And I would like to thank you all three of you, because you have just taken your time, and we are talking about a very pertinent issue which is actually requiring all of us attention and our we can say the significant way to look at life. Because as we all know that let's just we are observing 10th of October every year as World Mental Health Day, and in this 2021 also we are observing this day across the world, and everyone, we all are just going for this because during the past 2 years we are having pandemic and we are suffering from that, and this has just altered the whole way to look at life. So before going into the mental health and its different pertinent aspects and significance, I would like to just put some light on the historical background, that how it has been all started. Uh, it is not very far that we have started in 1992. For the first time, World Mental Health Day was observed, and it was the global authority, global government, they have thought of mental health. Before that, there was no talk about mental health. We are only talking about physical health. Okay, but after 1992, it was nothing like some kind of ceremony or some kind of discussion of words among people. It is just 2 hours television broadcast across the world. People will take part, just see, just watch the television. But later on, after 2 years, in 1994, they have thought of something. No, let's go for a theme-based observation. And the first theme was just to, and it was very significant, that to how to highlight and how to develop the importance and the mental health status of people across world. That was the first year's theme in 1994, after 2 years. But and this year's theme is also it is very significant in its own way. It is talking about mental health in an unequal world. And as we know, we are striving for equality. But when we are talking about mental health, it is purely talking about something very, we can say, derogatory, very stigmatized, and how things are going on, and how we are looking at the different perspectives of life. That thing is the main focus in this year's mental health observation. So we will discuss more about the inequalities and the inequalities we are facing, and the unequal world, how we are leading. And so in this way, this thing have happened. And for the first time, 150 countries are participating in World Mental Health Day observation. Now the number is increasing. But from the very beginning, there were 150, and it is a huge number. But we can say in a aerial view, it sounds good, it looks beautiful. But at the grassroots level, always there is a gap. And it is up to us that how much we can talk about it and how we can bridge the gap. So with this note only, let's start our discussion.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Now I welcome Mr. Somyakant Panda, Gitan Shah, and myself, Arpita Mohanty, to take part in the discussion and make the session more interactive.
Thank you so much, Arpita. Good evening, ma'am. Now, we already know, like, in our age, when we come, we know, as if I say, I know that mental health is an illness. If someone has some problem mentally, it's illness. Like anyone can have diabetes, same as anyone can cause with a mental illness. But how to know? I never understood. Like we always confuse. Like if I'm sad, if I'm depressed, if I'm like long period of time I'm sad, I'm depressed. But because when you have any physical injuries, we know that we are suffering from this physical, because that part of our body is paining. It's we can sense the ache. But when it's meant about mental health, we ourselves don't know that we are fit or not. So how to approach? Maybe we are sad. So I never knew how to know that if anyone or ourselves are ill or not, or suffering from it.
Yeah, and this is the most important way to recognize, because recognizing is the first step of dealing with mental health. As you have very nicely said, that if we are having any physical injury, it is visible. We know that we are having this much of pain or this kind of illnesses in a particular area of our body. But when we are talking about mental health, it is something we just cannot it is not tangible at all. It is something that you are experiencing, you are feeling not good. And when you are saying I am sad, and whether I am my mental health is at some stake, how do I know? And that thing is actually the doubt and confusion with everyone. And here, before starting the answering your question, let me just clarify two biggest myths in our life. When we are talking about health, it is always coming to our mind that it is our physical health. We can't think of anything else. And World Health Organization, they have actually repeatedly, I'm saying this statement, that they have said, and very nicely they have stated, that there is no health without mental health. That shows that your physical health along with your mental health is combinedly saying that you are having a good health. So if you are only taking care of your physical health and you are not taking care of your mental health, that means you are not healthy, which is in a real sense. But normally we think that if I'm not having fever, I am many times it is a very common example. For example, you are not having any physical ailment, but still you are not feeling like waking up. You are not feeling like going out. You are still laying in the bed. And that point of time, if you are saying someone that I'm not feeling good, nobody really understands what you are feeling. They are saying you are physical fit, fine, just go for it. And you are overthinking. This, please mark my words, overthinking. Overthinking is the word that is being hammered on us. That, but it is not. As you are saying, we all have the right not to feel okay. We all have the right. Please mention this, that we have that right. Right means I am just talking about the constitutional right. And we have all the way to express our not feeling good emotion. And when we are saying that depression, and depression is actually very widely being used, but it is wrongly used in common general way. If you are, for example, my result is there out, and I have secured not appropriate mark, and I'm feeling sad, but we say that she or he is very depressed. Depression is a clinical term, and it is used by psychologists and psychiatrists. And that thing is, you always remember, if you are remaining depressed or sad or lethargic, or you are isolated and you don't feel like talking or interacting with people for more than 4 weeks, minimum 4 weeks, means 1 month or more, 1.5 months also, it is not very much a strict rule, then you may think that I'm having clinical depression. Otherwise, it is simple sadness. And please accept that clinical depression is a disease, just like, as you said, just like your headache, your fever, your common cold. Depression is a disease, and we cannot ignore that. We need to take care of it. And how you will know about that? When you will find that your sadness is affecting your day-to-day activity, you are not performing them properly, then it is high time to talk to a therapist. Because talking to a therapist is again stigmatized. And it is always being discriminated that, oh, you are having some mental illness. And here in our country, any mental health issue is known as pagal, sad, insane. We are saying that. And that's sanity. We are always thinking that we all are having. if someone is complaining, the person is insane. Rather, I will say the person is more sane than us, because he or she is aware of his feeling. That's why he or she is seeking help. But those who are ignoring, that doesn't mean that you don't have the disease. We have the disease. For example, I'm having the cancer and I will not go for the treatment, and I will think that no, I'm perfectly fine. I am actually hampering myself. My health is going deteriorated. But the person, those who are doing it properly, we need to understand that they have actually gone a lot of way to talk about that disease. So it is simply healthy and unhealthy body as well as mind. And if you are having something unhealthy, then please seek help. And seeking help is also your right. You just cannot go away with it. Just as you are going for seeking medical health, medical facility, and mental health is part of your medical facility. You will find nowadays we have actually developed a lot where you will find psychiatric ward is there, mental health ward is there. So we can go for that. But always it is the sign for you that mind it, that if your symptoms are affecting your regular daily activities, please seek help. It is time to seek help. You don't need to express it to everyone. Just go to the proper person who is actually ready to help you, specifically the professionals. Okay, fine.
Thank
I
you
guess
very much.
Gitansha, it is fine with you. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you
Yes,
very much, ma'am. Actually, the meaning of depression as a word was never really clear to me. And this thing that you said, that it's clinical depression, which is actually a disease. And
Yeah.
again, though I don't want to sound like someone from a previous generation or someone who that thinks way too way too more than his age.
Mm.
Our current generation uses the word depression way too often.
I know.
Exactly, ma'am. So any kind of sadness is quickly characterized with depression, because for a few moments we don't feel like interacting with anyone, and again that becomes quite the dilemma for us, whether we are actually just sad or are we just depressed. Ma'am,
Mm.
again, I completely agree with your point that in India as a country, we never really, uh, what do I say, advertise or what do I say,
Propagate.
propagate the fact that therapy is actually good. But at the same time, I don't know if it happens only in India, since I don't have much of experience of the other countries. But similar words like panic attacks or anxiety attacks, or for that matter, insanity as a word is used in very wrong places.
Mm.
Just because I'm very afraid or I'm very tensed before an exam, I can't call it a panic attack, right? So, ma'am, don't you think that the fact that these things are misused in different places is the very first reason why people don't really go for professional help in the first place?
Yes, absolutely. Because we will only misuse certain things when we do not know the real meaning of those words. First thing is that we are ignorant about that and we use them. And always you will find that the psychological concepts are, because psychology is not something of a particular group. We cannot say that we being psychologists are only know about psychology. No, it is about behavior. It is about human beings. So being humans, we all have experienced some or other of the qualities or characteristics in our whole life. So when we are using them, many times we don't get clarified with any of the professionals. We use it in our regular life. Just like as you have said, panic attack. And one more thing is that depression, and another one is anxiety. You will find very commonly used nowadays, because we have heard them in some TV soaps or in your newspaper or any of the media houses. You have heard those kind of things. And sometimes you will also find that the way the psychological issues have been portrayed in your movies or your serials, you'll find that they're over the top. Those are actually not the reality. For example, they will show you multiple personality disorder. They will so dramatize, and many times we, being practitioners, we see really, is it like that? But we are not dealing with such kind of people. So these are the things where we fall short, that we don't know the real meaning of such kind of words. So as you have very nicely said that People do not know. That's why they were just compensating by misusing those concepts. And examination, as you have said, that one issue that before examination, for example, I'm feeling uh, frightened or afraid of appearing the examination. That's fine. Some kind of stress is required. We always call it as eustress. Eustress is the positive stress, because if you are a little bit of stressed in a positive way, you are on your toes, so that you will perform well. But if this stress is affecting you negatively, then we don't require that stress. Stress is okay, fine, but the panic attack is again a disease. Again a disease. If one person is being affected regularly before any sort of examination with all sorts of preparation, then again it is time to, whenever I say that it is affecting your daily activity, don't have a second thought, just go for the therapist. And panic attacks are facts. People are suffering. The heartbeats will be high, they will be fainting, they will be taken to the medicals, hospitals will be there. So things are going on like that. So we shouldn't be thinking that the person is just acting or reacting. No, it is a disease, the person is suffering. The only point is that he or she is not able to express it, what he or she is suffering, how the suffering is. So we must be very much genuine and empathetic towards the person. Okay, but anxiety attacks do come, and it affects our daily activity. And if it is there, then please go for a therapist. And always, preferably go for a psychologist. And if you don't find psychologist, go for a psychiatrist. Psychologist will never ever give you medicine, but psychiatrist will prescribe you medicine, but with the perfect ethical guidelines. So never ever get afraid. As we are not being afraid to take medicine for cold, then don't get afraid. It is just a medicine for your betterment. Okay. Have I cleared you, Soumya?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Ma'am, I have a doubt
Please.
that being in third year, we have a lot of things to do. We have to prepare for placements. We have to do internships. We have to gather knowledge. We have to do coding and stuff, technical apart, aptitude apart. There are household works, there are projects we have to work on. So when we have a lot of things to do, there is a certain amount of stress that is being built in our minds. So is it affecting our mental health?
Yes. Again, when we are saying that your mental health can be affected with many factors, just like your health. For example, you are there and you are going out in a cold night, chilled cold night, you are going out and you are having something cold. Then you are coming back and you are having a very severe cold in your body. That thing that you have been affected by that virus. Okay. Similarly, if you are just going, as you have said, that your whole day is completely packed, then you may get some kind of stressors. And always these stresses mark that they are not always the positive stress. There are many times we get negative stress. And this negative stress is actually whenever you are not feeling fine, that means mental health is being affected. But many times we have that internal capacity to cope up. So either we are reading something, or we are talking to a friend, or we are chatting in a phone, or you are watching something, or you're reading a book. These are coping strategies. And without your awareness, you are ready with it. And you are very much clear that, yes, I'm feeling good. But actually, you have healed yourself with some of the techniques without your awareness. And as we do not know, again, so we don't feel that there was a need and that need has been fulfilled. We don't get that connection. But unknowingly, you have actually done something good for yourself. This is one aspect. And second aspect is that if you are finding somewhere jumbled up, and if you are finding somewhere stuck while dealing with your daily chores, at that point of time also, never ever hesitate, because the mental health professional is there in your institute and who can be reached over phone or online or face to face. So why to stop yourself? if it is there, then we should showcase that, we should access that service. And our main problem here in India is that we never access. We think that it will be get over by itself, अपने आप हो जाएगा, ऐसे नहीं होता है. We have to take the help of the person. मेरा हाथ कट गया, that doesn't mean that I will think that oh, it will be just get cured by itself. No, I have to go to the surgeon. Okay, and always remember that just like you are wearing clothes, you are having your food, you are going for college. Similarly, as a routine, you can just visit your professional, mental health professional. There is nothing wrong. And while you are going or entering into the chamber, that doesn't mean that they will start hypnotizing you. Nothing like that. These are all myths. It is shown by your daily soaps. So, in a lighter note, so it is always listening to you. It is always listening to you actively without being judgmental, and your confidentiality will be maintained at the highest order. So why not to get that service? And it is always better that to consult something who is detached from you, not anyway connected with you. They will give you the best suggestions. Yeah. I guess Arpita, it is your question.
Yes, ma'am. I got
Fine.
it.
So don't get
Yeah.
afraid. Don't get afraid at all.
Ma'am, as you said that we have to seek help, or as we have access to you, but there are many people who don't have access to counselors and all. But there is a generation gap between us and our parents, and they don't just accept not just mental health things, a lot of other things about transgender, about lots of issues are there. They don't accept it. So how to make them understand if someone is suffering from anything and if they want to seek help and they want to ask to their parents or anyone who is connected to them, because it's not like in our age everyone is aware. In our age also people think that insanity is there, then only this person is going to psychiatrist or psychologist. So how to make them understand so that we can seek help, or people who want to seek help can go and seek help.
As you have said that how to promote seeking help tendency or the seeking help procedure, but very nicely you have said here. Before answering again, I'm just diluting many things, but it I need you all to know about this, because when we are talking about professionals, mental health professionals, it was one of the, I have just collected many statistics. I will say you that all of you might be aware of National Crime Record Bureau, NCRB. NCRB actually does lots of research on various aspects of human life, society. And in one case, in 2015, they have actually done this study that, for example, we are talking about mental health workforce. Then who are these people? Those who are, we're talking about the service providers. There will be psychiatrists, there will be psychologists, there will be psychiatric nurses and social worker. These four actually making a group to help people in hospital setup, specifically I'm talking. And if we were in educational institutes, there will be one psychologist for sure. And it is the government mandate that every institution must have one psychologist to help people so that the stigma will decrease. But the real, in 2015, the requirement was 55,000. Okay, 55,000 personnel were required. And we had at that point of time 7,000. Now we just fill the gap. And we are 1.3 billion. Okay, and one more interesting statistics I will definitely just share with you. There are 13,000 psychiatrists we need. If we make a ratio of 1:8,000, one psychiatrist for 8,000 people, then we require 13,000 psychiatrists across our country. And if you are talking about psychologists, then we need 20,000 psychologists minimum, but we have 1,000. From there only you can find out how bitterly we are suffering. And one more thing, psychiatric nurse, 35,000. We have 900. 900, not even 1,000. And lastly, social worker. Nurse is 30,000, we are having 1,500, and nurse is 35,000, and we are having 900. And from this scenario, and it is including everything from rural India to urban India. But the majority is focused in urban India. And in urban India also, as you are saying, we are stigmatized. It is a taboo to seek help. And as you are saying, in your generation, I will never ever blame any generation. It is across generations. We are stigmatizing people, those who are having mental health, because we are ignorant about various aspects of mental health. And when someone is saying like this, it is sheer ignorance they are showing off. And here, one thing as individuals at individualistic level we can do, we are not going to blame them because they have not ever got the opportunity or the exposure to know about it. Here we are talking because you have got the opportunity and we are interacting. But earlier it was not there. For example, there is 1,000 psychologists, then in how many institutes, how many psychologists will be there? You just imagine. In Odisha we will fall short. Forget about India. In Bhubaneswar we will fall short. So from that, nowadays it is improving. People are actually now talking about it. Just like your depression and anxiety, it may be because of the media personnel or the movie stars, but the word has been come up. I am thankful for that only. They have talked about their depression. Nowadays people are also relating that yes, we are also having some kind of issues, but earlier it was not there. People were just believing like that. As you are saying, gender issues, how many of you are open to gender issues? Till now, if it was a survey that 99% of people are still believing that gender is binary, which is not. We can find 86 types of genders are there. 86, and we are ignoring 84 types. And we are still telling ourselves the most developed. We are the privileged group and we are ignorant about it. And if someone is talking about gender, we have some common notions which are very derogatory. I don't want to utter them, but it is like that. As you are males or females, they are like that. So who are we to question about our existence? Can I question about your being male or being a female? I cannot. So if I am not feeling like a male or female and I'm feeling like the transsexual people, then who are you to tell me? If I'm talking about the queer group, then who are you to tell me? Because I'm like that only. So the gender and sexuality thing is actually creating lots of inequality among us. And think about their mental health. You know, till 2011, these people, they are not included in census. We don't count them. Means there is a group of people, we don't acknowledge their existence. And think about their mental health. It is just, I cannot imagine how they are living. And in 2011, they have said that it is 5 lakh in India. And I can assure you, it is much more than that. People are hiding their identity. Why? Because they will be stigmatized, they will be discriminated in the society. So being equal is not just one day's activity. Being equal is a process. And we all have to, actually it is a fight with our learning process. Whatever we have learned till date, now we are going to reconstruct it. And we are going to show it in a different way. So I guess, at least from today onwards, all of you will be passionate and empathetic towards gender issues. You are not going to just say in a way that, no, we are binary. No, you are not. You are the minority. There are 84 groups, 84 groups. So all total, there are 86. And these are changing. Nowadays, just few days back, I was also attending one LGBTQI workshop. And there you will find that people from different backgrounds, they have come across. So now it is high time that we shouldn't just segregate ourselves, that no, if I am not in that group, why should I? You have to, being a human being, You have to. So that is the way we can proceed with mental health. For example, I am feeling good, then I shouldn't talk about others. No, people are suffering. Just open your eyes and look at them. In your classes, in your bench also you will find, because in our country, 1 in every 7th person is mental health issue, having some mental health issue. We are having 1.3 billion and 7.5% people are suffering with mental health issues. So we are not less. And across the world, 13%. 13% is not a big amount, because 7.9 billion and 13%. Think, the people are suffering. Taboos are there. It is not only in India, but abroad also. But the degree is differentiating. Degree is varying. In our country, it is very much stigmatized, highly stigmatized. So we must raise our voice against this. And it's with you. And we all together can do this. So at least in our periphery, we will fight for this. That we are not going to accept any kind of discrimination or stigma or any taboo. Then we will proceed. Right? If I'm just deviating, you all can just say me, but otherwise, we all need to discuss about it. These things should be discussed. Gender issues should be discussed. We are just hiding everything.
Because it's a part of mental health. A person is going through lots since childhood. First of all, they are not able to recognize which gender they are feeling. And then when they are able to recognize, when they are accepting it, society is not accepting, family is not accepting. So they don't know what to do, where to seek help. They don't know to go to psychiatrist, psychologist. That's a big issue and should be discussed.
And here also, I would like to add something, because if I'm having a different gender, which is beyond binary, or I'm deviating from binary, that doesn't mean that I'm mentally ill. Mental illness will happen when society will start pressurizing on me. Otherwise, I'm fine with myself. So the psychologist, here again, the stigma is actually buffering. How? If you are seeking help from a psychologist, they are saying, oh, you are insane. That's why you are going and you will be cured. There is nothing like being cured. Being female, can you be cured? Being female or male, can anyone be cured? No. Rather, psychologist will provide them the psychological support, emotional support, for the support. And for this reason only, basically, we are finding that they will normally go for the community. They work in a group. People of similar kind, they form a group. Then they fight for it. So always it is a group activity. And you will find that Pride March is going on. They are having the 7 rainbow colors. They are showcasing. So we need to read many things, and you will find people are actually doing a lot of work. It doesn't mean that people are not working. They are doing. Many things are actually going on. It's we that we are keeping ourselves ignorant. Rather, let's make ourselves aware. That will be the best solution. Let's experience each and everything, how things are going on. That will be the best way.
I'm very well said that, at the end of the day, it's our life that we actually, live. So a couple of people who don't even know what you are going through don't actually get to, they shouldn't get to actually delegate how you live your life, who you seek help from, or do you even seek help from them or not. So again, but this is my feeling that slowly but steadily, even countries like our country, like India, are actually opening up, going towards the. They actually, at least we are in the path now towards a better.
We have started.
Exactly. So all I can hope right now is that we actually reach the destination before it's very too late. So, ma'am, completely agreeing with your points regarding the gender issues and the gender norms, and how, gender issues can, anyone facing trouble because of the society can obviously go to help, go for help to the psychologist or psychiatrist for that matter. Now, ma'am, but considering the fact, like, again, we don't know what happens in rural or in common day-to-day life of people, but we ourselves have seen so many celebrities itself, like, so many celebrities that have come out as, either transgenders
Hmm.
or bisexuals, or any of those 84 different sort of form
Gender.
of genders that you have actually told us about. And we see it on national television itself that they are either cast out of their family. They're severely, what do I call it, they are severely touted, or they're severely bullied in on the across the social media. Somehow or the other, don't you think, ma'am, that's stopping people from that in itself is a big hindrance in people's ways of either coming out or going for help
Yeah.
to someone?
Yeah, this is the biggest cause. Please complete
Yes,
your
ma'am.
question.
So considering that, along with that, ma'am, we come from a very long generation of people who have kind of felt a bit difficult seeking help from someone else. Somewhere or the other, we have already had a discussion about how rural areas have so much less access to any kind of psychological help.
Any kind of.
So, ma'am, considering the fact that somewhere or the other, each and every one of us is rooted to some rural area in some way, right? Like, I come from, my generation lasts in certain rural area. Yours will end somewhere. Arpita's will end somewhere. So, considering the fact that we have seen our elders and forefathers not seek help because they didn't have that sort of facility. Now that we have the facility, don't you think that that very experience of not seeing them ask for help is actually hindering us from seeking help as well?
Yes, actually, normally people or any child or any individual will perform something which he or she has been seen in his or her family. If it is a very normal way to discuss about mental health or talk about gender issues or sexuality, then it is very casual for us to talk about that. That is why we are promoting the friendly families nowadays, because and nowadays it has been changed. You might have been seen your parental time and today's time, there is a huge change, because your great grandfather or grandfather may not be talking to them in the similar way as they are interacting with you, because with time they have been changed. And as you have said, at that point of time they were not seeking help. It's absolutely true, they were not seeking help because at that point of time life was very simple. Life was not this complicated as we all are facing right now, and they were not going somewhere away from house or their particular home. They were there, they're native, and they are staying or they are just revolving around that native place. But nowadays 20 years back it was that people from particular state were going to Bangalore, Bombay, Hyderabad. Nowadays they are going from this corner of this world to another corner of that world. And now it is world has just come into our fingertips, and you are bombarded with social media. Lots of complications are there. Now you cannot imagine your life without cell phone for a 5 minute time. We are pissed off. But just think, when there was landline, because we are the transitional phase, we have seen landline and now we are seeing mobile phones. But you people, Generation X, you have just born with your mobile phones, we can say. So that transition we can feel that life was working there at that point of time. We don't seek mobile, but now we need that. Why? Because it has been changed. So we can always say that you cannot just say that this is the full and final way of living life, or this is the way of living life. It keeps on changing. As human beings, we keep on changing with every minute. The society will keep on changing. So seeking help, the way to seek help has been also been changed. The type of problems we all are facing, that has been changed. Earlier, panic attack during examination time, I was seeing people, I was talking with students, the number was less, but now it was very much high. Why? Because the number and the way of living has been changed. So the whole purpose is that it is just based on the change we are going through. Our ancestors were not seeking help. That doesn't mean that we shouldn't go for this, because as a changed generation we need to safeguard our mental health. Earlier the work life, have you ever thought about that work from home will just go on like this year and year? No. And in 24 hours, you will devote your 18 to 19 hours for work in front of a system. Can you think of? Can your ancestors can think of? Never. But if you are just looking at computer at for such a long time and for your online classes too, I bet you all are having issues with that. So yes, it is a hindrance because earlier it was not being done. But let's assure ourselves that what has not been done, it doesn't mean that it will not occur. We will make the change as a change because the society around us is changing. It's rather that we have to communicate very properly. We have to communicate that this is the issue. I need help. And as you are saying, in rural area, the whole thing is a different ballgame because it is first thing is that ignorance rampant. Though in urban area also it is there, but we have the accessibility to cross check our thing, but there it is not. Second thing is that it is being manipulated by the local baba matas. They are the self-proclaimed gods over there, and they are manipulating people. So if we will suggest something, they will not come to a psychologist. Rather, they will prefer to go to a any kind of baba, those who are just doing something for nothing but charging a hell amount of money, and they're exploiting people. So these kind of things, and the acceptance with a healthy mind, with a healthy way, is actually absent in rural area. And there also we need to go for community work, community propagation, community nukkad natak, any awareness program will work over there. So being educated youth, are we doing that? As you have said, we all are linked with our rural root, but are we doing something for our rural area? If not, then let's do it. We can do it. There is never late. We can just go for a discussion with village people. We can go for the facilities that is available. We can make them aware. The helpline numbers we can show them, because lots of helpline numbers are going on across the country. I myself included in many helpline numbers. So it is not only you people. I am accessible to many across India. So these kind of things we need to transmit. So always keep it in your mind. It always there is a point to start, and we can start. We don't have to just wait for that our forefathers or ancestors were not doing. So we should know we can do. Just like many social constructs, I will not discuss in this platform. In some other platform, we will do at what way our ancestors were not doing and what we are doing now, and it is acceptable, legal. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am, for clarifying this doubt because it actually is a very big issue.
I know.
Now, as you have mentioned that during online classes, students are facing a lot of issues. It is evident that they will be facing issues. At this particular pandemic situation, many students have, not only students, many people have lost their near and dear ones. So definitely it would have been a situation of depression or sadness. It could have been. So how do you think students would be able to cope up with this? Because being students, they're obviously of very young age. They have very less experience with the world and a very tender mindset. So how do you think they would be able to cope up? If they're also not accessing help, how you can think they will be able to cope up, like reading books or listening to music? Would it help?
Here, I will answer your question in a two-part way. Okay, in the first part, I will discuss about this online thing. Because online issue or online teaching learning process has created actually difficulties, and it is not only with students, it is with teachers too. Both the parties have faced difficulties, but how we are going to deal with this and how we are going to just proceed with the whole system. Initially, it was fun for students. It was fun for students, and it was something traumatic for teachers because here you are not interacting with live students. We are just and people are there are many unethical practices in classroom too. So here we do not have the access to go there or to interact with students directly. But as time passes, then we came to understand that how difficult it is, because you as a student you are continuously watching or seeing the monitor or the screen of your laptop, and you are trying to understand things. There you will find that many times you need a little bit of clarification. But as the teaching is going on, and you do not have that instant access to say that I'm having a problem, we just wait for a time and time lapse, then you feel that no, why should I ask, I will clarify it later, and then these things actually accumulated, and it creates lots of stress that we have many unclear doubts with us. That is one of the major issue basically the students are facing, because instantly in the classroom it is always easier to ask a teacher, "Ma'am, I'm having this problem." But if you are in online mode or in a virtual mode, it is really difficult. And secondly, we can say that uh, you feel bored. It is actually fatigue to look at the screen. You just cannot go on looking at the screen for a longer duration, and you need a break because your brain is functioning continuously, so you just cannot stress your brain. And lastly, what is happening, just as we are doing certain activities online, we are there for the sake of attending. We are not actually interested in. We are there virtually. Physically, we are sleeping or we are doing something, or we are not at all interested in that thing. So these are the issues which have actually created lots of trouble in your academic field. Many clarifications have not been, I am not saying that all of you have done this, but it was the major of the issues that we all have faced. And similarly, we are away from you all, also we are not getting that essence to interact with the classroom. We feel that we feel the absence, we miss that interaction, live interaction. So these are the online issues. But here I always ask you one question: do we have any alternative method or procedure? The not to go for online class, we can go for some altered ideas. No, we don't have. So as we don't have, we have to survive with this limited scenario. Then it's up to us as individual. You have to decide whether I want to devote my time in some meaningful and productive way, or I just want to waste my 55 minutes. It's up to us, because at the end of the day, the student will be the sufferer. Because if you are not raising your voice, your doubts will be there only. So it's better that let's get interactive and just involve yourself completely in the whole process, so that you will get benefit from maximum benefit from the online class. If you'll just get out of the whole loop, then it is difficult in your part to interact. Now I'm coming to the, I will not take much time. I'm coming to the second part of your question. That is about the loss of near and dear ones or parental issues, those who are lost their parents. Actually, as you have said, reading book or engaging in music or something is the secondary thing. First thing is that at the mental level, in your personal level, are you okay with it? Because as you have said that you are in a tender age, I agree. But life and death are not in our control. And we have to be very clear that there are so many things, actually there are everything which are not in our control at all. And we are feeling pity that they are not there. But with all due respect to all the parents, the loss is creating a vacuum forever. We cannot compensate that, but we have to live our life. So at that point of time, we must understand that our life is also not in our control. We don't know when we are going to leave. We are grieving today, but I don't know whether I will be there for tomorrow or not. So it is surely an uncertain thing. And if we are actually beginning with an uncertainty, then let's accept that uncertainty. Accept that uncertainty with grace. Accept that uncertainty with respect. And please value and respect your parents, the emotions, the feelings, the experience they have shared with you. Definitely, it is a tough time, toughest time. But you seek help. Unless you are not seeking help or you are not in a position to seek help, those who are aware of this fact, please come forward to help the student or friend or the known one. Being a community, we can help each other. Otherwise, the person will feel lonely or isolated. So those who are aware of something like this, then please come forward to help the person. Be there, be with them. That makes a difference. Otherwise, we will be selfish. So let's stand for each other. Let's handhold. That creates a bigger difference. Yeah.
Ma'am, one more thing.
Yeah.
Many a times during this pandemic, many of my friends have come to me and have shared their issues. They tell that I'm feeling depressed, I'm not feeling happy, I'm feeling very sad. So at this point of time, what should be my suggestion to them? Or should I just refer them to someone who is more experienced, who actually a psychiatrist or a psychologist?
Always that as they are coming as your friends, they actually coming to you with some hope and expectation that you will suggest something. Because whenever you approach one friend, we have that expectation in our mind that my friend will help me, right? So at that point of time, abruptly we shouldn't say that no, I'm not going to help you, please refer that. This doesn't work. You please, first thing, only one thing you can do, that you please listen to them, what they're saying. You please listen to them. After listening to them in a very active way, very patiently, you listen to them. Then if you find that any solution to this, you give, or else you refer them. But never ever say that no, I'm not there, I'm not the real one. No, you are an individual and you can listen to a person. That gives one empathetic feeling. Then all of you can just plan and you can refer. And referring is a must. If you know any psychologist, then please do refer. Okay, but first give an empathetic listening.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Really good.
If I
Yeah.
just may ask just one more question, ma'am.
Then we can finish it up.
Okay. So like considering like myself being from like being a batch that has seen half of their college life as a whole in the offline mode, and let's hope not the let's hope our 8th semester is not so, but almost half of our 7th semester is already into the online mode. So ma'am, one of the differences that I myself have seen is that like when we were in the offline mode, life was fast. We used to run for to catch the bus. We used to run to get to classes. We used to in the classes itself we used to run just every class is some way or the other a race as to who is gonna perform better than the other, and that competition is what kept us going. And somewhere or the other, like first few I'd say months of online classes were sort of like that, but then everything kind of slowed down for us. Now we don't run for our buses, we just come in exactly, like say for example classes start at 9:50. We have the privilege to actually get sign in at 10 o'clock even, and just because we have a window of like 45 minutes instead of 55. So somewhere or the other, that I see has affected my ability to study or my ability to work as a whole. And it took some time to adjust to those settings, but somewhere or the other, I feel I've adjusted to that. But the moment things switch back, this will become a hindrance for us, because we've already, like somewhere or the other, we have actually gotten used to this slow lifestyle. So ma'am, wouldn't that cause a little bit of a stress, or not exactly stress, but a lot of health and mental health issues when we actually switch back to a normal mode?
Yes, because any transition is always creating a trouble. Any transition, as I was saying earlier in this discussion, that when it was started online class, teaching learning process, it was really fun for students. They were happy that we are not going to go out. We will be there and sitting. If the class is 9:50, I will wake up at 9:49. Then I will sit in front of the camera. But when it went on and time passed, and then you felt, as you are saying, it everything is very slow. And there is a concept we are saying, psychology of not being watched. That actually works. Nobody is watching me. I'm just switching off my camera and I'm muting myself. Then I'm just sitting. And here, 2 years, we are saying people, mute yourself, unmute yourself. It is in our hand. You just see, this is the way we have changed. But can we really mute someone in real life? The person will speak. So this is the part of technology, and we can say this is the byproduct of technology. As you have said, yes, life has been slowed down because nobody is actually creating anything. Nobody is giving you deadlines. It is very flexible schedule. You are attending, you are not attending. Earlier, you have to get ready and you have to come for college and classes. Now, in between the gap, you are having a breakfast. You are actually doing your schedule as per your wish. Not every day is a very regular day. In one day you are doing something, in another day you are doing something else. So that is the way you are performing. And from high speed coming to low speed, and from low speed again to high speed, there is no other option. You have to go. You have to, because life is not going to be like this forever. Nothing is so permanent always. Always it is going on, changing. So it's always that you have to make yourself mentally ready that, yes, I'm going to face the world, because this is not your life. Are you really going to get something out of this by being so slow? As human beings, we need social interaction. So that transition period is always a tougher thing for everyone, from slow to high, high to slow, and then maintaining a pace. It will happen, as everyone will do, you will also do. And all of a sudden, if people are coming into the class, we may be having some kind of trouble, because we are used to with having a very silent classroom, because all are mute. But at that point of time, you all will be gossiping. So this transition is there. So we have to face that. So let's see. We just cannot predict, but of course, it will be tough. So make yourself mentally ready that the transition is going to be tough. Okay.
Thank you very much, ma'am. So, ma'am, just before we conclude, ma'am, would you like to give any concluding statements as to in this entire discussion?
Yes, of course, I will like to give, and I would. I must say that first of all, we have to respect every individual's individuality, and if you are respecting each individual's individuality, you will get respect in return. First thing, and at the same secondary level, you will respect the mental health issues of people, because you are respecting that person. When we are giving any kind of negative comment or negative statement about some person, somewhere or other, we are actually showing our disrespect towards that person. So if we are actually believing in humanity, then we will definitely respect the dignity of that person. The right to life with dignity has to be maintained. And this is a constitutional right. It is not being a psychologist or a technical people. No, it is our highest law of the land. It says that we have to follow and we have to lead our life with our own terms. And secondly, we must say that I have to accept myself, respect myself, and love myself as I am. This is the mantra I repeatedly say, because if I'm sufficient with myself, others' negative statements are not going to affect me. If I am feeling discomfort within myself, then others' statements are affecting me. So if I'm very much contented in myself, I don't care. Because if I'm not harming anyone, then I'm doing fine. Absolutely. And please be sensible towards mental health issues and people, those who are suffering with this. Let's make them or promote them to talk about it. At least we, those who are interacting, we will not judge them. Many times people are hiding just because of being with the fear of being stigmatized. So let's not do that. And we have to bridge that inequality. We have to bridge that inequality. and we have to observe this World Mental Health Day not for this day. It is the beginning. We have to do it throughout our life, every phase of our life, and we all need this. This is not someone A or B needs this. No, we all needs to help make our mental health healthy so that our health will be fine. So yeah, that's it. And we need the handholding, cooperation, support system has to be there, and promote seeking help.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for shedding light on such intricate facets of mental illness. What we got to learn today is the most important keys to deal with mental illness is empathy, spreading awareness, and dealing with the challenges instead of just stating the words like depression and seeking help, making it normal that seeking help is okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for
Thank you.
clearing all our doubts.
Thank you, all of you. Thank you, all of
With
you.
this, we come. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
With this, we come to the end of the session. Let's end it here.
Yeah. It's a good one, I guess. I
Yes.
hope I have clarified or I have made you bored.
No, ma'am, you clarified. Like,
हाँ,
really enjoyed this.
पता
clarified
लगा
all.
दुनिया ठीक करने चले, यहाँ पे तीनों को बोर कर दिया मैंने.
नहीं मैम,
No,
काफी अच्छा session था.
No, ma'am.
Okay. So, but I would love to discuss in some other forums about many other different issues. And for this gender thing, I really need, because is it record mode? We can
Ma'am,
delete it.
you can like you can stop the record. Like
Yeah,
if
you just
have it,
stop the record. Then I'm
you can. You're the host of the
Okay,
meeting
okay,
right
okay, okay.
now. Just